it's freezing for you. What's the temperature there, you guys? What are y'all dealing with? Did anyone watch the game last night? What a wild time. My goodness. What a wild time. I'm in a place where everyone is super happy about the result of the football game yesterday. That's what I was just saying. You're sending me the snow? I don't think it's possible, Mary. I don't think it's possible. Feels like 8 degrees. Oh my gosh. I bet it's like 60 something here. We work across from the Lions home arena. Well, they are probably partying it up. I mean, listen, Jamari Gibbs was the only person playing last night, I'm convinced. No one else was even on that field except for that man. No, it's definitely not cold here at all. I mean, maybe like 64, 60, something like that, if I had to guess. You're gonna get 8 more inches. Yeah, I bet, Liz. There's just, I mean, it was a crazy thing. I thought that the game was gonna be a lot closer last night because those teams are so evenly matched. I really thought that it was gonna be a closer game. I really did think that it was gonna be closer. Also, everyone, like from Vegas to whatever, predicted it was going to be a higher scoring game, and it was a low scoring game for the majority of the game. It was wild. It is going to be an interesting next few weeks, yeah. Wild times. Yeah. The first half was crazy, Susan. I completely agree. Like, for the first quarter, nobody was scoring anything. I was like, what is happening right now? Where is everybody? And then Jamari was like, listen, I got you guys. He looked at Dan Campbell and he was like, sir, I am going to win this game. And he did. He really did. Him and him alone. They wouldn't have won it without him. That's for darn sure. Towards the end of the game, when it was clear that, like, the Lions were for sure going to win, Secret Husband was like, why do they still have Jamari on the field? Protect that man. Get him off the field. I don't want to see him anymore. It was very funny. He was like, why are they still playing him? Protect him. It's true. You should protect him at that point. Just true. Oh man, but yeah, that's the whole kit and caboodle for last night. What do we think's going on with this piece of hair? That's fun, right? I wish I could have stayed up for the whole game. That's one of the great things about being on this coast is that they don't ever end late for us, you know? It's like whatever. I went back to work after the game ended last night. I packed Patreon orders after the game ended, like regular grab bags and stuff. I did that. Yeah, I mean, I get up at 6 too. It ends earlier for us because I have time on you. So if I lived in where you live, it would be different. But because it's early here, we're lucky. Are you doing slime today? Yeah, we have roll for slime later. We do. Good morning. Yes, roll for slime is at 4:30 today. It's true. It's true. The momentary panic when you said you packed Patreon orders. Yeah, sorry, Liz. I didn't mean for any confusion. Not restock orders, like actual Patreon orders. No, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to confuse anybody. Patreon has just like monthly orders that regularly go out, and people need those. So I just do those because I knew I had to go to the post office this morning because I have to go to the doctor this morning. So I want to go to the post office on the way to the doctor. So that I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to waste a trip. Like, if I have to go get in the car, I want to do everything in one go, you know? fancy coffee. All right. Well, good morning to you. Don't hide. You want your coffee? All right. Delightful. What a treat. What a treat. All right. Sorry, I'm just fixing the tripod so that, oh, some whipped cream got on the screen. We don't want that. We don't want whipped cream on the screen. All right, so let us, is anyone doing anything fun this week? We got Roll for Slime today. We have Patreon restock today. We have regular restock on Thursday. It's a very busy week over here in Rainbow Slime Girl Land. Very busy week, but that's okay. You're going to a baby shower on Saturday? That's lovely. Hey, Ray. How fun. Just enjoying no one being home. You're back to regular. Kids all went back to school this week, I assume. That's funny. That is funny. All right, let me get settled. And we are gonna read again some Princess Diaries. For anyone keeping track, we are at 29% mask cleaning before surgery. That makes sense. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of that before labor as well, for obvious reasons. So because this book, thank you, Secret Husband put these up. He picked all of those. Aren't they beautiful? He picked some really cool, like, drawings and birds and trees and stuff. They're pretty neat. Yeah. So because the Princess Diaries isn't split into chapters, it's hard for me to say like chapter whatever, because she does it by day, but not like date. So like Saturday, but there's multiple Saturdays. Yes, definitely, right, definitely. So we're at 29%. Oh, yeah, party prep. That sounds fun, Allie. What's a party for? What are we doing? What are we doing? You're 1 week away from surgery. Yeah, I'm about 1 month from labor, almost on the nose. So we'll see what happens. Let's read a little more about what Mia is dealing with today. Saturday night. I can't believe what a loser I am. I mean, Saturday night and I'm alone with my dad. He actually tried to talk me into going and seeing Beauty and the Beast. Like, he felt sorry for me because I didn't have a date. Do you have your labor slime made? Oh no, I wouldn't make it this early. Way too early to make it, because if I made it now, it wouldn't be fresh in a month. No, I'll make it in like 2 or 3 weeks so it's fresher. No. I finally had to say, look, Dad, I'm not a child anymore. Even the Prince of Genovia can't get tickets to a Broadway show on a minute's notice on a Saturday night. He was just feeling left out because Mom had taken off on another date with Mr. Gianni. She wanted to cancel on him, and given all the upheaval that was occurring in my life for the past 24 hours, but like, no. I totally made her go because I could see her lips getting smaller and smaller the more time that she spent with Dad. Mom's lips only get small when she's trying to keep herself from saying something. And I think what she wanted to say to my dad was, please get out and go back to your hotel. You're paying $600 a night for that suite. Can't you just stay in it? Yeah, my dad drives my mom completely insane because he's always going around digging out her bank statements from that big old salad bowl where she throws all our mail, and then trying to tell her how much she should save in interest if she would just transfer funds out of her checking account and into a Roth IRA. So like, even though she felt like she should stay home, I know if she didn't, she would totally explode. So I said, please go. And that Dad and I would discuss what it's like to govern a small principality in today's economic market. Only when Mom came back out on her date wear, which included this totally hot black mini dress from Victoria's Secret. My mom hates shopping, so she buys all her clothes from catalogs while she's soaking in the tub after a long day of painting. And then my dad started to choke on this ice cube. I guess he'd never seen mom in a mini dress before. Like back in college when they were going out, all she ever wore was overalls, like me, because he drank down his scotch and then his soda really, really fast. And he said, "That's what you're wearing?" Which made my mom go, "Well, what's wrong with it?" And she looked herself in the mirror all worried like, but she looked totally fine. In fact, she looked much better than she usually did, which I guess was the problem. I mean, it sounds weird to admit it, but my mom can be a total Betty when she puts her mind to it. I can only wish that someday I'll be as pretty as my mom. I mean, she doesn't have a yield sign hair or a flat chest or size 10 shoes. She's way hot, at least as far as moms go. But then the buzzer rang and mom ran out because she didn't want Mr. Gianni to come up and meet her ex, the Prince of Genovia, which is totally understandable since he was still choking and looking sort of funny. I mean, he looked like a red-faced bald man in a cashmere sweater coughing up a lung. I mean, I would have been embarrassed to admit that I'd ever slept with him if I were her too. Anyway, it was good for me that she didn't buzz Mr. Gianni up because I didn't want him asking me in front of my parents why I hadn't gone to the review session on Friday. So then, after they were gone, I tried to show my dad how much better suited I am for life in Manhattan than Genovia by ordering some really excellent food. I got us insalata caprese, ravioli al funghetto, and a pizza margherita, all for under $20, and I swear my dad wasn't even impressed. He just poured himself another scotch and soda and turned on the TV. He didn't even notice when Fat Louie sat down next to him. He started petting it like it was nothing, and my dad claims that he's allergic to cats. And then, to top it all off, he didn't even want to talk about Genovia at all. All he wanted to do was watch sports. I'm not kidding. Sports. We have 77 channels, and all he would watch were the ones showing men in uniforms chasing after a little ball. Forget the Dirty Harry movie marathon, forget pop-up videos. He just turned on the sports channel and stared at it. And when I happened to mention that mom and I usually watch whatever's on HBO on Saturday nights, he just turned up the volume. What a baby. And then, you think that's bad. You should have seen him when the food got here. He made Lars frisk the delivery man before he would let me buzz him up. Can you believe it? I had to give Antonia a whole extra $1 to make up for the indignity of it all. And then my dad sat down and ate without saying a word until after another scotch and soda, and then he fell right asleep on the futon with line so that I could talk to her. Cracking. What do you want, Thermopolis? Fat Louie. I want to talk to Lily. Please go offline so I can call her. Cracking. What do you want to talk to her about?
Fat Louie, none of your business. Just go offline, please. You can't hog all the lines of communication to yourself. It isn't fair. Cracking, no one said life is fair, Thermopolis. What are you doing home? Anyway, what's the matter? Dream Boy didn't call you? Fat Louie, who's Dream Boy? Cracking, you know, your post-nuclear Armageddon life made of choice, Josh Richter. Lily told him? I cannot believe she told him. I am going to kill her. Fat Louie, would you please go offline so I can call Lily? Cracking, what's the matter, Thermopolis? Did I strike a nerve? I logged off. He can be such a jerk sometimes. But then about 5 minutes later, the phone rang, and it was Lily. So I guess even though Michael's a jerk, he can be a nice jerk when he wants to be. Lily's very upset about how much her parents are violating her First Amendment rights to free speech by not letting her make the episode of her show dedicated to her feet. She's going to call the ACLU as soon as it opens on Monday morning. Without her parents' financial support, which they have currently revoked, Lily tells it like it is cannot go on. The show costs about $200 per episode, and if you include the cost of tape and all that, public access is only available to people with cash. Lily was so upset that I didn't feel like yelling at her about telling Michael that I chose Josh. Now that I think about it, it's probably just better that way. My life is a convolution of lies. Sunday, October 5th. I can't believe that Mr. Gianni told her. I cannot believe he told my mother that I skipped his stupid review session on Friday. Hello? Do I have no rights here? Can't I skip a review session and not get binked on by my mother's boyfriend? I mean, it's not like my life isn't bad enough. I'm already deformed and I have to be a princess. Do I have to have my every activity reported upon by my algebra teacher? Thanks a lot, Mr. Gianni. Thanks to you, I got to spend my entire Sunday having the quadratic formula drilled into me by my demented father, who kept rubbing his bald head and screaming in frustration when he found out I don't know how to multiply fractions. Hello, may I remind everyone that I am supposed to have Saturday and Sunday off from school? And Mr. Gianni had to go and tell my mother that there's going to be a pop quiz tomorrow? I mean, I guess that was kind of nice in him to give me a heads up and all, but you're not supposed to study for a pop quiz. The whole point is to test what you've retained. And then again, since apparently I've retained nothing mathematical since about the second grade, I guess I can't really blame my dad for being so mad. He said, if I don't pass algebra, he's going to make me go to summer school. So I pointed out that summer school was fine by me since I already agreed to spend summers in Genovia. So then he said I'd have to go to summer school in Genovia. I am so sure. I met some kids who went to school in Genovia and they didn't even know what a number line was. And they measure everything by kilos and centimeters, as if metric wasn't so totally over. But just in case, I'm not taking any chances. So I wrote out the quadratic formula on the white rubber soles of my Converse high tops, right where the curve is between my heel and my toes. I'll wear them tomorrow, I'll cross my legs, and I'll take a peek if I get stuck. I wonder if they made the teacher the mom gets with in the movie Mr. O'Connell and didn't keep Gianni. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because it's too Italian of a name, or I don't know. I don't know why. No clue. Monday, October 6th, 3 a.m. I've been up all night worrying about getting caught cheating. What will happen if someone sees that I have the quadratic formula written on my shoe? Will I be expelled? I don't want to be expelled. I mean, even though everybody at Albert Einstein High School thinks I'm a freak, I'm sort of getting used to it. I don't want to have to start all over at a whole new school. I'll have to wear the scarlet mark of being a cheater for the rest of my high school career. And what about college? I might not get into college if it goes down on my permanent record that I'm a cheater. Not that I want to go to college, but what about Greenpeace? I'm sure Greenpeace does not want cheaters. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Monday, October 6th. 4 a.m. I tried washing the quadratic formula off my shoe, but it won't come off. I must have used like indelible ink or something. What if my dad finds out? Do you think they still behead people in Genovia? Monday, October 6th, 7 a.m. Decided to wear my Docs and throw my high tops away on the way to school, but then I broke one of the boot laces, so I can't wear any of my other shoes because they're all size 9.5 and my foot grew a whole 1/2 inch last month and I can barely walk in my loafers and my heels hang out over the back of my clogs, so I have no choice but to wear the high tops. I'm gonna get caught for sure. I just know it. Monday, October 6th, 9 a.m. Realized in the car on the way to school that I could have just taken the laces out of my high tops and strung them through my Doc Martens. Why am I so stupid? Lily wants to know how much longer my dad's going to be in town. She doesn't like being driven to school. She likes to ride the subway because then she can brush up on her Spanish by reading all the health awareness posters. I told her I didn't know how long my dad was going to be in town, but that I had a feeling I wasn't going to be allowed to ride the subway anymore anyway. Lily observed that my father was taking this infertility thing a little bit too far, that just because he can no longer render anyone embarazada is no reason to get all overprotective of me. I noticed that in the driver's seat, Lars was sort of laughing to himself. I hope he doesn't speak Spanish. How embarrassing for us. Anyway, Lily went on to say that I should take a stand right away, like now, before things get worse. And then she could tell it was already starting to take a toll on me since I seemed listless and there were circles under my eyes. Of course I'm listless. I've been up since 3 a.m. trying to wash my shoes. I went into the girls' room and tried to wash them again. Lana Weinberger came in there while I was there, and she saw me washing my shoes, and she rolled her eyes and started brushing her long Marsha Brady hair and staring at herself in the mirror. I half expected her to walk right up and kiss her reflection. She was so obviously in love with herself. The quadratic formula is smeared, but it's still legible all over my sneakers. I won't look at it during the test. I swear I won't. Monday, October 6th. Gifted and talented class. Okay, I'll admit it. I looked. Fat lot of good it did me too. After he collected the test, Mr. Gianni went over all the problems on the board and I got every single one of them wrong anyway. I can't even cheat right. I have got to be the most pathetic human being on this planet. Polynomials, term, variables multiplied by a coefficient, degree of polynomial, the degree of term with the highest degree. Hello? Does anyone actually care about this stuff? I mean, really, truly, does anyone care about polynomials? I mean, besides the people who are like Michael Moskovitz and Mr. Gianni, does anyone at all? Well, when the bell finally rang, Mr. Gianni goes, Mia will have the pleasure of your company this afternoon in our review session. And I said yes, but I didn't say it loud enough for anyone except for him to hear. Why me? Why? Like, I don't have enough to worry about in my life. I'm flunking algebra, my mom's dating my teacher, and I'm the Princess of Genovia. Something has got to give. Tuesday, October 7th. I know, me too, Danny. This is the thing, you guys. Like, I will tell you, reading this at the age of 14 completely changed my life. Like, I was like, I will do this. This is what I will do for my life. And obviously I've only written one book and she's written like 8 million. But like, I don't know. I just love her style so much. She's perfect. Me too, Danny. Me too. Ode to Algebra. Thrust into this dingy classroom, we die like lampless moths, locked into the desolation of fluorescent lights and metal desks. 10 minutes until the bell rings. What use is the quadratic formula in our daily lives? Can we use it to unlock the secrets of the hearts of those we love? 5 minutes until the bell rings. Cruel algebra teacher, won't you let us go? Homework. Algebra, problems 17 through 30 on the handout. English. Proposal. World Civ. Questions at the end of chapter 7. Gifted and talented. None. French. Huit phrases. Example. A. Page 31. Biology. Worksheet. Wednesday, October 8th. Oh no. She's here. Well, not here exactly, but she is in this country. She's in the city. She's only like 57 blocks away. As a matter of fact, she's staying at the plaza with Dad. Thank God. Now only have to see her after school and on weekends. It would suck so bad if she was staying here. It's pretty awful seeing her first thing in the morning. She wears these really fancy negligees to bed with big lacy sections that everything shows through. You know, stuff you wouldn't want to see. Plus, even though she takes her makeup off to sleep, she still has on eyeliner because it's been tattooed to the back of her eyelids since the 80s. When she went through a brief manic phase shortly after the Princess Grace died, well, at least according to my mom. It looks pretty weird seeing this old lady in a lace nightie with big black lines around her eyes first thing in the morning. Actually, it's scary. Scarier than Freddy Krueger and Jason put together. No wonder Grandpierre died of a heart attack in bed. He probably rolled over one morning and got a good look at his wife. Somebody ought to warn the president that she's here. I mean, he really ought to know, because if anybody could start World War III, it's my grandmother. Last time I saw Gramir, she was having this dinner party and she served everybody foie gras except for this one woman. She just had Marie, her cook, leave that lady's plate bare for the foie gras course. And when I tried to give the lady my foie gras because I thought maybe they had run out, and anyway, I don't eat anything that was once alive, my grandmother was all, Amelia! She said it so loud that she scared me. She made me drop my slice of foie gras onto the floor. Her horrible miniature poodle pried it up off the parquet before I could even move. And then, later, after everyone left, when I asked her why she wouldn't give that lady any foie gras, Grandmere said it was because the lady had had a child out of wedlock. Hello, Grandmere, may I point out that your own son had a child out of wedlock, namely me, Mia, your granddaughter. But when I said that, Grandmere just yelled for her maid to bring her another drink. Oh, so I guess it's okay to have a child out of wedlock if you're a prince, but if you're just a regular person, no foie gras for you. Oh no, what if Grandmere comes to the loft? She's never been to the loft before. I don't think she's ever even been below 57th Street. She's gonna hate it here in the village. I'm telling you right now, people of the same sex kiss and hold hands in our neighborhood all the time. Grandmere has a fit when she sees people of the opposite sex holding hands. What's she gonna do during the gay pride parade when everybody's kissing and holding hands and shouting, "We're here, we're queer, get over it"? Grandmere won't get over it. She might have a heart attack. She doesn't even like pierced ears, let alone pierced anything else. Plus, it's against the law to smoke in restaurants here, and Grandmere smokes all the time, even in bed, which is why Grandpere had these weird disposable oxygen masks installed in every single room in Mirganac, and had an underground tunnel dug that would run through in case Grandmere fell asleep with a cigarette in her mouth and the chateau just burst into flames. Also, Grandmere hates cats. Yeah, she thinks that they jump on children while they're sleeping on purpose to suck out their breath. What's she gonna say when she sees Fat Louie? He sleeps in my bed with me every night. If he ever jumped on my face, he'd probably kill me instantly. He weighs like 25 pounds and 7 ounces, and that's before he's had his can of Fancy Feast in the morning. And can you imagine what she'll do when she sees my mom's collection of wooden fertility goddesses? Oh God, why did she have to come now? She's gonna ruin everything. There is no way I'm going to be able to keep this secret from everyone with her around. Why? Why? Thursday, October 9th. Oh, I found out why. She's giving me princess lessons. I'm in too much shock to write more. More later. Friday, October 10th. Princess lessons. I am not kidding. I have to go straight from my algebra review session every day to princess lessons at the plaza with my grandmother. Okay, so if there's a God, how could this have happened? I mean, like, people always talk about how God doesn't ever give you more than you can handle, but I'm telling you right now, I cannot handle this. This is just too much. I cannot go to princess lessons every day after school, not with Grandmere. I'm seriously considering just running away from home. My dad says I have no choice. Last night, after I left Grandmere's room at the plaza, I went straight down to his. I banged on the door, and when he answered it, I stalked straight in, and I told him I was not doing it. No way. Nobody had told me anything about princess lessons. And do you know what he said? He says I signed a compromise, so I am obligated to attend princess lessons as a part of my duties as his heir. I said, then we're just going to have to revise the compromise because there was nothing in there about me having to meet with Grandmere every day after school for anything called princess lessons. But my dad wouldn't even talk to me about it. He said he was late and could we please talk about it later. And then while I was standing there going on about how unfair this was, in walks this reporter from ABC. Well, I guess she was there to interview him, but it was kind of funny because I've seen her interview people before, and normally she doesn't wear a black sleeveless cocktail dress when she's interviewing the president or anybody like that. So I'm gonna have to take a good look at this compromise tonight because I do not recall it saying anything about princess lessons. Here's how my first lesson went yesterday after school. First, the doorman won't even let me in. Big surprise there. And then he sees Lars, who is like 6'7" and must weigh like 300 pounds. Plus, Lars has this big bulge sticking out of his jacket, and I only just now figured out that it's a pew-pew and not the stump of an extraneous third arm. which is what I had originally thought it was. I was too embarrassed to ask him about it in case it drugged up a painful memory for him about being teased as a child in Amsterdam or like wherever he's from. I mean, I know what it's like to be a freak. It's better just not to break things like that up, you know? But no, it's a pew-pew. And the doorman got all upset about it and he called the concierge over. And thank God the concierge recognized Lars, who's staying there, after all, in a room in Dad's suite. So then the concierge himself escorted me upstairs to the penthouse, which is where Grandmere is staying. Let me tell you about this penthouse. It is very fancy. I thought the ladies' room at the plaza was fancy. No, the ladies' room is nothing compared to this penthouse. First of all, everything is pink. Pink walls, pink carpet, pink curtains, pink furniture. There are pink roses everywhere. These portraits hanging on the walls all feature pink cheeked sheep herdices and all sorts of stuff. And just when I thought I was going to drown in the pinkness, out came Grandmere, dressed completely in purple, from her silk turban all the way down to her mules, with rhinestone clips on her toes. At least I think they're rhinestones. Anyway, Grandmere always wears purple. Lily says people who wear purple a lot usually have borderline personality disorder because they have delusions of grandeur. Traditionally, purple has always stood for the aristocracy. Since hundreds of years, peasants weren't allowed to dye their clothes with indigo, and therefore they couldn't make violet. Well, of course, Lily doesn't know that my grandmother is a member of the aristocracy. So while Grandmere is definitely delusional, it's not because she thinks she's an aristocrat. She really is one. So Grandmere comes off the terrace where she was standing, and the first thing she says to me is, "What is that writing on your shoe?" But I didn't need to worry about getting caught cheating because Grandmere started in right away about everything else that was wrong with me. "Why are you wearing tennis shoes with a skirt? Are those tights supposed to be clean? Why can't you stand up straight? What's wrong with your hair? Have you been biting your nails again, Amelia? I thought we agreed that you were going to give up that nasty habit. My God, can't you stop growing? Is your goal to be as tall as your father?" Only it sounded even worse than that because it was all in French. And then, as if it wasn't bad enough, she goes in her creaky old cigarette-y voice, "Haven't you kissed your Why haven't you kissed your Grandmere then?" So I go up to her and I bend down, and my grandmother's like a foot shorter than me, and I kiss her on the cheek, which is very soft because she rubs Vaseline on her face every night before she goes to bed. And then when I started to pull away, she goes to me and says, "Pfft, have you forgotten everything I've taught you?" And she makes me kiss her on the other cheek too, because in Europe and in Soho, that's how you say hello to people. So anyway, I bent down and I kissed Grandmere on the other cheek. And as I did, I noticed that Rommel was peeking out from behind her. Rommel is Grandmere's 15-year-old miniature poodle. He's the same shape and size as an iguana, only not as smart as an iguana. He shakes all the time and has to wear a fleece jacket. Today, his jacket was the same purple as Grandmere's dress. Rommel won't let anyone touch him except for Grandmere, and even then he rolls his eyes as if he were being tortured while she's petting him. If Noah had ever met Rommel, he might have changed his mind about letting 2 of all of God's creatures onto the ark. "Now," Grandmere said when she felt we'd been affectionate enough, "let's see if I have this right. Your father tells you that you're the Princess of Genovia and you burst into tears. Why is this?" All of a sudden, I got very tired. I had to sit down on one of the pink floofy chairs before I fell down. "Oh, Grandmere," I said in English, "I don't want to be a princess. I just want to be me, Mia." Grandmere said, "Don't converse in English with me, it's vulgar. Speak French when you speak to me. Sit up straight in the chair. Don't drape your legs over the arm of the chair. You are not Mia, you are Amelia. In fact, you are Amelia Mionette Grimaldi Rinaldo." I said, "You forgot the Thermopolis," and Grandmere gave me the evil eye. She's very good at the evil eye. "No," she said, "I did not forget the Thermopolis." And then Grandmere sat down in the floopy chair next to mine and said, "Are you telling me that you have no wish to assume your rightful place upon the throne?" Boy, was I tired. "Grandmere, you know as well as I do that I'm not princess material, okay? So why are we even wasting our time with this?" "You know as well as I do that I'm not princess material, okay? So why are we even wasting our time with this?" And Grandmere looked at me out of her 2 twinned tattoos of eyeliner, and I could tell she wanted to end me right then and there, but probably couldn't figure out how to do it without getting blood on the pink carpet. "You are heir to the throne and crown of Genovia." She said this in a totally serious voice. "And you will take my son's place on the throne when he dies. This is how it is. There is no other way." Oh boy. So I kind of went, yeah, whatever, Grandmere. Look, I've got a lot of homework. Is this princess thing going to take a long time? Grandmere just looked at me. It will take, she said, as long as it takes. I am not afraid to sacrifice my time, or even myself, for the good of my country. Whoa, this was getting way patriotic. I said, okay. So then I stared at Grandmere for a while, and she stared back at me, and Rommel laid down on the carpet between our chairs, only he did it really slow, like his legs were too delicate to support all 2 pounds of him. And then Grandmere broke the silence by saying, we will begin tomorrow. You will come directly after school. Grandmere, I can't come directly after school. I'm flunking algebra and I have to have a review session every day after school. Then after that, no dawdling. You will bring with you the list of 10 women you admire the most in the world and why. That is all. My mouth fell open. Homework? There's going to be homework? Nobody said anything about homework. And close your mouth, she barked. It's uncouth to let it hang open like that. I closed my mouth. Homework? Tomorrow you will wear nylons, not tights, not knee socks. You are far too old for tights and knee socks. And you will wear your school shoes, not tennis sneakers. You will style your hair, apply lipstick, and paint your fingernails, what's left of them anyway. Grandmere stood up. She didn't even have to push up with her hands on the arms of the chair either. Grandma's pretty spry for her age. Now, I must dress for dinner with the Shah. Goodbye. I just sat there. Was she insane? Was she completely nuts? Did she have the slightest idea what she was actually asking me to do? Evidently she did, since the next thing I knew, Lars was standing there and Grandmere and Rommel were gone. Geez, homework. Nobody said there was going to be homework. And that's not even the worst of it. Pantyhose to school? I mean, the only girls who wear pantyhose to school are like Lana Weinberger and the seniors and people like that. You know, like show-offs. None of my friends wear pantyhose. And I might add, none of my friends wear lipstick or nail polish or do their hair. Not for school, anyway. But what choice did I have? Grandmere totally scared me with her tattooed eyelids and all that. I couldn't not do what she said. So what I did was I borrowed a pair of my mom's pantyhose. She wears them whenever she has an opening or like on dates with Mr. Gianni. I've noticed that too. And I took a pair of her pantyhose to school with me in my backpack. I didn't have any fingernails to paint, according to Lily. I'm orally fixated. If it fits in my mouth, I'll put it there. But I did borrow one of my mom's lipsticks too. And I tried some mousse that I found in the medicine cabinet. It must have worked, since when Lily got into the car this morning, she said, "Wow, where'd you pick up the Jersey girl, lass?" Which I guess meant that my hair looked really big, like the girls from New Jersey wear it when they come into Manhattan for a romantic dinner in Little Italy with their boyfriends. So then, after my review session with Mr. G at the end of the day, I went into the girls' room and I put on the pantyhose, the lipstick, and my loafers, which are too small and pinch my toes really bad. And then when I checked myself out in the mirror, I thought, hey, I don't look so bad. I didn't think Grandmere would have any complaints. I thought I was looking pretty slick waiting to change until after school. But I figured out on a Friday afternoon there wouldn't be anyone hanging around. Who wants to hang around on a Friday afternoon at school? I had forgotten, of course, about the computer club. Everybody forgets about the computer club, even people who belong to it. They don't have any friends except each other, and they never go on dates. Only, unlike me, I think it's actually by choice. No one at Albert Einstein is smart enough for them, again, except for each other. Anyway, I walked out of the girls' room and ran smack into Lily's brother, Michael. He's the computer club treasurer. He's smart enough to be president, but he says he has no interest in being a figurehead. Christ, Thermopolis, he said as I scrambled around trying to pick stuff up that I dropped, like my high tops and socks and stuff, when I bumped into him. What happened to you? I thought he meant why was I there so late. Oh, you know, I have to meet with Mr. Gianni every day after school because I'm flunking up. I know that. Michael held up the lipstick that had exploded out of my backpack. I mean, what's with the war paint? I took it away from him. Nothing. Don't tell Lily, okay? Don't tell Lily what? I stood up and he noticed the pantyhose. Jesus, Thermopolis. Where are you going? Nowhere. Must I be continuously forced to lie all the time? I really wished he would just go away. Plus, a bunch of his computer nerd friends were just standing there staring at me like I was some new kind of pixel or something. It was making me pretty uncomfortable. Nobody goes nowhere looking like that. Michael shifted his laptop from one arm to the other, and then he got this funny look on his face. Thermopolis, Are you going on a date? What? No, I'm not going on a date. I was completely shocked at this idea. A date? Me? I'm so sure. I have to meet with my grandmother. Michael did not look as if he believed me. And do you usually wear lipstick and pantyhose to meet with your grandmother? I heard some discreet coughing and looked down the hall. Lars was there by the doors, waiting for me. I guess I could have stood there and explained that my grandmother had threatened me with bodily harm, well, practically, if I didn't wear makeup and nylons to meet her. But I sort of didn't think he'd believe me, so I said, look, just don't tell Lily, okay? And then I ran away. I knew I was dead meat. There was no way that Michael wasn't going to tell his sister about seeing me come out of the girls' room after school in lipstick and pantyhose. No way. And Grandmere was totally horrible. She said that the lipstick I had on made me look like a poulette. At least that's what I think she said, and I couldn't figure out why she thought I looked like a chicken. But now that I looked up poulette in my English-French dictionary, it turns out that poulette can also mean prostitute. And my grandmother had called me a hooker. Geez, whatever happened to nice grandmothers who bake brownies for you and tell you how precious you are? It's just my luck that I get the one with tattooed eyeliner that tells me I look like a hooker. And she said that pantyhose I had on were the wrong color. How could they be the wrong color? They're pantyhose colored. And then she made me practice sitting down so that my underwear didn't show between my legs for like 2 hours on end. I'm thinking about calling Amnesty International. This has to constitute as torture. And then, when I gave her my essay on the top 10 women that I admired most, she read it, and then she ripped it up into little pieces. I'm not kidding. I couldn't help screaming, Grandmother, why did you do that? And she went calmly, these are not the sort of women you should be admiring. You should be admiring real women. And I asked Grandmere what she meant by real women, because all of the women on my list are real. I mean, Madonna might have had a little plastic surgery, but she's still real. But Grandmere says that real women are Princess Grace and Coco Chanel. And I pointed out to her that Princess Diana's on my list, and you know what she said? She said she thinks Princess Diana was a twink. That's what she called her, a twink, only she pronounced it twink. Jeez. After we rehearsed sitting for an hour, Grandmere said that she had to go and take a bath since she's having dinner tonight with the Prime Minister of something. She told me to be at the plaza tomorrow no later than 10 o'clock a.m. 10 a.m. Grandmere, I said, tomorrow is Saturday. I know it. But Grandmere, I said, Saturdays are when I help my friend Lily film her TV show. But Grandmere asked me which was more important, Lily's TV show or the well-being of the people of Genovia, who, in case you didn't know, number in the 50,000 range. I guess 50,000 people are more important than one episode of Lily Tells It Like It Is. Still, it's going to be tough explaining to Lily why I won't be there to hold the camera when she confronts Mr. and Mrs. Ho in front of Ho's Deli across from the Albert Einstein School about their unfair pricing policies. Lily has discovered that Mr. and Mrs. Ho give significant discounts to only the Asian students who go to Albert Einstein, but no discounts at all to the Caucasian, African American, Latino, or Arab students. Lily discovered this yesterday after play rehearsal when she went to buy a ginkgo biloba puff, and Ling Su was in front of her in line and bought the same thing. But Mrs. Ho charged her, Lily, 5 whole cents more than she charged Ling Su for the same product. And then, when Lily complained, Mrs. Ho pretended like she couldn't speak English, even though she must speak some English, or why else would her mini TV behind the counter always be tuned to Judge Judy? Well, Lily's decided to secretly videotape the Hos to gather evidence of their blatantly preferential treatment of Asian Americans. She called for a school-wide boycott of their deli. The thing is, I think Lily is making a really big deal about just 5 cents. But Lily says it's the principle of the thing, and that maybe if people made a big deal about how the Nazis smashed up Jewish people's store windows, they wouldn't have ended up putting so many people in ovens. I don't know. The Hos aren't exactly Nazis. They're really nice to the little cat that they raised from a kitten to chase away the rats coming into the chicken wings in the salad bar. Maybe I'm not too sorry about missing the taping tomorrow. But I am sorry that Grandmere tore up my list of the 10 women I admire the most. I thought it was nice. When I got home, I printed it out again just because it made me so mad, you know, her tearing it up like that. So I put a copy in this book. And after carefully reviewing my copy of the Ronaldo Thermopolis Compromise, I see nothing about princess lessons here. I've been leaving messages for my dad all night, but he doesn't answer. Where is he? Lily isn't home either. Maya says that the Moskovitzes went to the Great Shanghai for dinner as a family in order to grow to understand one another better as human beings. I wish Lily would hurry up and get home and call me back. I don't want her to think I'm in any way against her groundbreaking investigation into Ho's Deli. I just want to tell her the reason that I won't be able to be there is because I have to spend the day with my grandmother. I hate my life. The 10 Women I Admire the Most in the Whole World by Mia Thermopolis. Yes, you're right. Queen Clarice in the movies would never say that about Princess Diana, but Queen Clarice in the films played by Julie Andrews is not the same as Granmere in these books. You will find that Granmere is a completely different person. And she gets more extreme as the series goes on. Just wait until we get to the COVID book. There's a book that takes place during COVID and Granmere is off the chain. Madonna. Madonna Cioni. How does she actually pronounce it? That's how it's actually pronounced in Italy, but I don't know how Madonna actually pronounces it. Revolutionized the fashion world with her iconoclastic sense of style, sometimes offending people who are not very open-minded. For instance, her rhinestone cross earrings, which made many Christian groups ban her CDs, or who have no sense of humor, like Pepsi, which didn't like it when she danced in front of some burning crosses. It was because she wasn't afraid to make people like the Pope mad that Madonna became one of the richest female entertainers in the whole world, paving the way for women performers everywhere by showing that it is possible to be sexy on stage and smart about it. Princess Diana. Even though she's dead, Princess Diana is one of my favorite women of all time. She, too, revolutionized the fashion world by refusing to wear ugly old hats that her mother-in-law told her to wear, and instead wore Halston and Bill Blass. She also visited a lot of really sick people, even though nobody made her do it, and some people, like her husband, even made fun of her for doing it. The night that Princess Diana died, I unplugged the TV and said I would never watch it again, since media was what killed her. But then I regretted it the next morning when I couldn't watch Japanese anime on the Sci-Fi Channel because unplugging the TV scrambled our cable box. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Hillary Rodham Clinton totally recognized that her thick ankles were distracting from her image as a serious politician, and so she started wearing pants. Also, even though everybody was talking bad about her all the time for not leaving her husband, who was going around having beep boop with other people behind her back, she pretended like nothing was going on and went on running the country, just like she's always done, which is actually what a president should do and how they should behave. Picabo Street. She won all those gold medals in skiing, all just because she practiced like crazy and never gave up, even when she was crashing into fences and things like that. She picked her own name too, which is cool. Leola May Harmon. I saw a movie about her on the Lifetime channel. Leola was an Air Force nurse who was in a car accident and the lower part of her face got all mangled, but then Armand Desante, who plays a plastic surgeon, said that he could fix her. Leola had to endure hours of painful reconstructive surgery, during which her husband left her because she didn't have any lips, which I guess is why the movie is called Why Me? It's peekaboo? Oh, peekaboo, sorry. It's not spelled like peekaboo though. Only the other Air Force doctors didn't like the fact that he wanted to make them out of skin from Leola's beep boop, but he did it anyway. And then he and Leola got married and they worked together to give other accident victims beep boop lips. And the whole thing turned out to be based on a true story. Crazy. Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc, or Jeanne d'Arc, as they say in France, lived in the 12th century, and one day when she was my age, she heard this angel's voice tell her to take up arms and go help the French army fight against the British. The French were always fighting the British all the way up until the Nazis attacked, and then they were like, Zut alors, can you help us? And the British had to go in and try to save their lazy butts, for which nobody in France has ever properly been grateful, as exemplified by their sloppy highway maintenance. See Death of Princess Diana above. Anyway, Joan cut off her hair and she got herself a suit of armor, just like Mulan in the Disney movie, and then she went and led the French forces to victory in a number of battles. But then, like typical politicians, the French government decided that Joan was too powerful, so they accused her of being a witch and they burned her at the stake. And unlike Lily, I do not believe that Joan was suffering from adolescent onset schizophrenia. I think angels really did talk to her. None of the schizophrenics in our school have ever had their voices tell them to do something cool like lead their country into battle. All Brandon Herzenbaum's voices tell him to do is go into the boys' bathroom and carve Satan into the door of the stall with a protractor. So there you go. Christy. Christy's not a real person. She's the fictional heroine of one of my favorite books of all time, which is called Christy by Catherine Marshall. Christy's a young girl who goes to teach in the Smoky Mountains at the turn of the century because she believes that she can make a difference. And all these really hot guys fall in love with her, and she learns about God and typhoid and all sorts of stuff. And I can't tell anyone, especially Lily, that this is my favorite book because honestly it's kind of sappy and it's really religious, and plus it doesn't have any spaceships or serial killers in it. The lady cop I once saw give a driver a ticket for honking at a woman who was crossing the street. Her skirt was kind of short. The lady cop told the truck driver that it was a no honking zone, and then when he argued with her, she wrote him another ticket for arguing with an officer of the law. Lily Moskovitz. Lily Moskovitz isn't really a woman yet, but she's someone I admire very much. She's very, very smart, but unlike other very, very smart people, she doesn't rub it in all the time. The fact that she's so smart, like so much smarter than me, well, at least not much. She doesn't rub it in. Lily's always thinking of fun things for us to do too, like go to Barnes & Noble and secretly film me asking Dr. Laura, who was signing books there, if she knows so much, how come she's also divorced, and then showing it on her, Lily's, TV show, including the part where we get thrown out and banned from the Union Square Barnes & Noble forever, ever after. Lily's my best friend, and I tell her everything, well, except the part about me being a princess, which I really don't think that she would understand. Helen Thermopolis. Helen Thermopolis, besides being my mother, is a very talented artist who was recently featured in Art in America magazine as one of the most important painters of the new millennium. Her painting, Women Waiting for a Price Check at Grand Union, won a big national award and sold for $140,000, only part of which my mom gets to keep since 15% of it went to the gallery and half of it went to taxes, which sucks if you ask me. But even though she's such an important artist, my mom always has time for me. I also respect her because she's deeply principled. She says that she would never think of inflicting her beliefs on others and would thank others to pay the same courtesy to her. Can you believe that Granmere tore up this paper? I'm telling you, this is the sort of essay that could bring a country to its knees. Saturday, October 11th, 9:30 a.m. Okay, so I was right. Lily does think the reason I'm not participating in the taping today is because I'm against her boycott of the deli. I told her that it wasn't true. I have to spend the day with my grandmother, but guess what? She doesn't believe me. The one time I tell the truth, she doesn't believe me. Lily says that if I really want to get out of spending the day with Granmere, I could, but because I'm so codependent, I can't say no to anyone, which obviously doesn't make any sense since I'm saying no to her right now. And when I pointed that out to Lily, though, she just got madder. I can't say no to my grandmother since she's like 65 years old and she's going to die soon. If there's any justice in the world, she will anyway. Besides, you don't know my grandmother, I said. You can't say no to my grandmother. And then Lily went, no, I don't know your grandmother, do I, Mia? Isn't that curious, considering the fact that you know all my grandparents? The Moskovitzes have me over for Passover every year for dinner, and yet I haven't met any of yours. Well, of course, the reason for that is that my mom's parents are totally like farmers who live in a place called Versailles, Indiana, and they only pronounce it Versailles. But my mom's parents are afraid to come to New York City because they say there are too many foreigners, by which they mean foreigners. There are too many foreigners, by which they mean foreigners here, and anything that isn't 100% American scares them, which is one of the reasons that my mom left home when she was 18 and has only been back twice since then, and that was with me. So let me tell you, Versailles is a small, small town. It's so small that there's a sign on the door of the bank that says, if the bank is closed, please slide the money under the door. I'm not lying either. I took a photo of it and I brought it back here to show everyone because I knew they wouldn't believe me. It's hanging on our refrigerator right now. Anyway, Grandpa and Grandma Thermopolis don't make it out of Indiana much. And the reason I never introduced Lily to Granmere Ronaldo is because Granmere Ronaldo hates children. And I can't introduce her now because then Lily will find out I'm the Princess of Genovia, and you can bet I'll never hear the end of that. She'd probably want to interview me or something like that for her TV show. Yeah, that's all I need. My name and image plastered all over Manhattan public access television. So I was telling Lily all of this about how I had to go with my grandmother and not about being a princess, of course. And I was talking, I could hear her breathing over the phone in the way that she does when she's mad. And finally she just goes, all right, come over tonight then and help me edit. And she slammed the phone down. Jeez. Well, at least Michael didn't tell her about the lipstick and pantyhose. That would have really made her mad. She never would have believed I was only going to see my grandmother. No way. This was all at like 9:30 while I was getting ready to go to Grandmare's, and Grandmere told me that for today I don't have to wear lipstick or pantyhose. She said I could wear anything I wanted, so I wore my overalls. I know she hates them, but hey, she said anything I wanted. Oops, gotta go. Lars just pulled up in front of the plaza. We're here. Dun, dun, dun. They have arrived. What percent are we at? That's a good question. Let's find out. One moment, I will look. 43%. Yeah. So we're almost halfway done with this book, which is great. I will tell you, I already have the second book on hold at the library, so we should have that in a couple of days as well. So when we finish this one, we'll be able to jump right into that. That being said, if I get one of the other books that we wanted to read in the meantime, it is a relaxing read. It's quite lovely. I really, really still want to read The Once and Future Witches, but it's like still on hold. There's so many people waiting for it. So we'll see. We'll see what pops up, but we keep going regardless. Yeah. I just pulled day 11 to take to work. Holy cow, great slime. Day 11 is a great slime. I'm obsessed with day 11. That was one of my favorite slimes in the entire advent calendar. Love that slime. Yeah. I'm so glad you chose this book. I'm loving it. It's so different than the movies. I love the movies too, but it is very different stylistically. I know that book is going to be ready for next Halloween. That's funny. Yeah, the book is always better. The movies were, I have to say, like, I'm usually not a fan of movies made out of my favorite books. I don't mind The Princess Diaries. I am pretty comfy, thank you. Hey Lorenzo. But this book series is so much more. I will tell you all, if you have seen the Princess Diaries 2 film, absolutely nothing of that is in any of the books. They completely went in a different direction with the film number 2. Book number 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 through 11 do not resemble the films at all. Book 1, there is a resemblance to the film in some way, but beyond that, no. It's 100% different. There's literally nothing in the second movie that comes from the books. Literally nothing. Yeah, no, Sloth, you're not crazy. Yeah, I can't think of even one thing other than Lily, Mia, and Grandmere that are in book, or that are in movie 2 that are in the books. Nothing else is from it. So anyway, all this to say, I've already put book 2 on hold for us, so all good, no stress, express. Like I said, today I have to go to the doctor, at which point I will take stuff to the post office, and then we will have Roll for Slime at 4:30, Patreon restock, excuse me, the hiccups, at 5. Y'all don't need me for the Patreon restock. That is, you know, you guys can handle that on your own, and I will be around for that. Okay, I hope you all have a great rest of your day till then. I will see you at 4:30.